Yeah, that's me. The old me, anyway. Everyone remembers Neverland. Nobody remembers leaving. Trust me, that's the harder part. It's funny what you miss. Not the pirates, not the crocodile. Definitely not the crocodile. But the smell of it. That specific combination of salt water and adventure, and the feeling that nothing in the world was ever going to change. I miss that part sometimes. Most days, though, I'm good. People think I left because I grew up. That's not quite right. I left because of a window. Funny how your entire life can change because you decided to knock on the right window. I'd been floating outside it for months, just watching. The warm light, the books on the desk, the girl who read them. One night, I finally knocked. She wasn't even surprised. That probably should have told me everything I needed to know about Wendy. The decision itself wasn't dramatic. No lightning, no speech. I just looked back at Neverland one last time and walked through the door. People always expect that moment to be sad. It wasn't sad. It was just quiet. The good kind of quiet. The kind that means something just settled into place. I know what you're thinking. Peter Pan got married? Believe me, I was surprised too. Wendy wasn't. Wendy's never been surprised by much. It's one of the things I love most about her. Also, one of the most intimidating. I can teach a room full of kindergartners. I can fly across an entire city. I once rescued a man who was falling from the sun. We'll get to that story. But somehow, Wendy is still the one keeping this family pointed north. Don't tell her I admitted it. She already knows. She usually does. This was the moment I learned that flying is not actually the most terrifying thing a person can do. Becoming a dad is. Nobody warns you about that part. There's no map for it. No second star to the right. Just you, someone you love, and this incredible little life you're somehow responsible for. I was terrified. Wendy was also terrified. But she'd never admit that. So I didn't either. We were a good team like that. And then came Patty. Look at her. Day one, already airborne. Already completely unbothered about it. I laughed for about 30 seconds straight. Then I looked at Wendy. Wendy was not laughing. Wendy had that specific expression she gets when she's already 3 steps ahead of a problem, and none of the solutions are good. I learned very quickly that ceiling fans and a flying infant do not mix. We had the ceiling fans removed by Tuesday. But honestly, the moment she looked down at me from up there, I understood something I hadn't understood before. Some things are worth every single thing you give up for them. She is that thing. She has always been that thing. She just didn't exist yet when I figured it out. Then I became a teacher, which, in hindsight, was probably inevitable. I'd already spent years supervising children who routinely ignored common sense. The only real difference is these ones have permission slips. The principal was wonderful, professional, composed. He only mentioned the floating twice during the interview. I respected that. And the child you can see through the classroom window behind us, that wasn't one of mine. Yet. Multi-Lo-Fi University. There's really no place like it. People come here from every corner of the world. and a few corners that don't technically appear on any map. There's a guy on campus who genuinely believes he's improving the economy. Last week, he redistributed my lunch. Apparently that's different from stealing. He explained the distinction for about 20 minutes. I still don't have my lunch back. People spend a lot of time arguing about whether stories can change. I usually just point to those two. 300 years ago, she'd have been running away. 300 years ago, he'd have been chasing her. Today, they're arguing over coffee. I'd call that progress. That's Bigfoot. 14 million subscribers. Still doesn't entirely know what a subscriber is. Nice guy. Terrible at answering emails. The one with the ring light is his situation. We're all still figuring out exactly what to call it. Bigfoot calls it exhausting. She calls it content. They're both right. And this has been happening since Tuesday. I won't explain it. Some things you just have to respect from a distance. And that's Icarus. We met under unusual circumstances. Specifically, he was falling from the sky. Now he teaches aviation. The chalkboard says everything you need to know about his teaching philosophy. He's the best professor on campus, partly because he knows exactly what happens when you don't listen. We don't talk about that day much. He saved my life once too, actually. Different kind of falling. That's a story for another time. There's no place like Multi-Lo-Fi University. Some come to teach. Some come to learn. Some are still figuring out which one they're doing. And some needed somewhere big enough to fit. Literally. I used to think growing up meant leaving the magic behind. Turns out, magic didn't go anywhere. It just needed somewhere new to land.
End of the day.
My favorite part. The city looks different from up here. Always has. Always will. Some things you never stop appreciating, no matter how many years go by. The air, the quiet, the way everything below looks small enough to hold in your hands. I used to fly because I never wanted to come down. Now I fly because home is worth flying back to. You know you're not supposed to ambush people at altitude.
You slowed down.
Yeah, I always do.